Well, I've got a couple of things to go through first here. Uh, Caitlin's godfather and godmother, Ruth and Terry Thone, are in the audience. Go ahead and stand up. All right, that's enough. Sit down. Sit down. And my close personal friend, Mike Fassner, had told me that, if you're going to give a little speech, you got to open up with a joke. So here it is. If you have a mothball in this hand and a mothball in this hand, what do you have? A really big moth. All right, let's get on to the most important part here. It's Caitlin. Just so you know, she was born on the day that I was supposed to go pheasant hunting with clients. I had to set that aside because I was going to be a father. Pretty exciting. So I sat in the hospital from 5:30 a.m. to the start of watching the Masters golf tournament, and the good news is that they called me into the delivery room as they were coming down the 18th fairway tied up. Faldo won on the first playoff hole. I didn't see it. To best Raymond Floyd. I digress. I made it just in time for the nurse to show me Caitlin, which worked out fine. So thank you for making it quick when you decided to show up. This was the first day that I would understand later in life as Caitlin's time. We would go for a ride at Christmas, and she could explain everything. No matter what it was, all you had to do was just ask her a question. She had the answer. Why is the moon so bright? She would tell you. Why are some lights blinking and some not on the Christmas tree? She would tell you. How does it snow? She had an answer for that. This began her fake it till you make it position in life. She was very generous growing up. We had the year of homemade gifts for Christmas. Paper rolls with yarn. I'm sure it was going to catch on one day. It was Caitlin's idea. Throughout her school years, she was talented as an athlete. Basketball and volleyball were her games. She would practice harder than any player I knew. She would never give up and stayed true to herself. Her main sport, however, was volleyball. She excelled at it. Also in high school, as just kind of a sidebar, she was on the National Honor Society. She went on to college and graduated from St. Scholastica with a Go St. Scholastica! With a degree in marketing and international business. This is where she met her future husband, Peter somebody. I don't know. I didn't know at the time. She's now a third-generation 3M'er, following in the footsteps of her grandfather and mother. So, Raj, get up and take a bow. You were the first. Yeah, okay, we know you were second, yeah. Okay, that ends that one. Now things you may or may not know about Caitlin. She can swear like a roofer. It started with her summer stints working in the roofing company. She drives like she's in a race. That horn was invented to tell people to stay in their lane as she comes by. She enjoys her own sense of humor. But if you make a joke at her expense, be careful. The roofer may come out in her. Refer back to rule number 1. She once faked a broken arm after messing around with her sister. I knew it was not broke, but she insisted. Her mom took the bait. I tried to argue about it, but in the end lost. So by the time she was at the hospital parking lot, she decided she was okay. Caitlin seriously has a heart of gold, though. She's extremely loyal to her family and friends. She's generous with her time and herself. All this brings us to today. We have so much to celebrate. 2 people who together are going to make a wonderful team. I'm so proud to have you as my daughter. And what is that? No. Okay.
It's your nose.
As a daughter and welcome you?
And you
Oh.
welcome my Peter, that's your nose.
Yeah, my daughter, and I welcome you, Peter, to our family. May God bless you with a long and happy marriage. Congratulations.
When I can't tell up from down, make me feel less crazy. When otherwise I drown, but you pick me up and brush me off and tell me I'm okay. Sometimes that's just what we need to get us through the day. You stay the course, you hold the line, you keep it all together. You're the one true thing I know I can believe in. You're all the things that I desire. You save me, you complete me. You're the one true thing I know I can believe. Oh.
Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining us here. Speak louder. All right. Thank you for joining us here today to celebrate this incredible couple, Peter and Caitlin. As most of you know, I'm Caitlin's older sister, Ashley. Caitlin and I, growing up, butted heads. We are the complete opposites and never really saw eye to eye. But over the years, I have learned so much from her and appreciate the woman she has become today. As we were preparing for her wedding today, I couldn't help but think back and remember the little 6th grader whom my parents made me, the senior, drive to school every day. Our high school and middle school are connected, so she thought she was the coolest thing walking through the high school parking lot and through the high school all the way to the middle school. Like I said, she thought she was really cool. I, on the other hand, thought differently. It seems so long ago, but in my eyes, you will always be my little sister. Peter, you are an amazing guy. I couldn't believe when I first met you how well you and Caitlin complemented each other. You are patient, kind, very patient. I love it. Okay. Kind, and a loving person. My family and I couldn't ask for a better man to take Caitlin's hand in marriage. You fit so nicely in our family, and my children absolutely love you, so that is a plus. Congratulations on your wedding day. When times get tough, remember this day. Remember the promises you made and the vows you exchanged. The light you found in each other will see you through anything. Now, I would like us to raise our glasses to the happily married couple. Best wishes to you both, and I love you.
Everyone hear me? A little louder? Okay. Well, if you think that was a roast of Caitlin, Peter's about to get it a little bit. So, Peter and I went to college, high school, and grade school together. And to describe Peter best, and Peter and Caitlin, I think it helps to start out with some things that made Peter unique. Things like being punctual, being organized, and being neat. Now, what's unique about Peter in these categories is that degree, he is not these things. Regarding being punctual, Peter, let's talk about your path to officially graduating. Now, yeah, whatever, okay. So Peter started at Valparaiso and he transferred to St. Scholastica and he played baseball throughout. So he graduated in 5 years, which is about right. Now after those 5 years, he had to turn in a paper, one paper, which he eventually did 5 years later. Peter has kind of a saying when he has to do something, say he has to mow his lawn or do the laundry, and he says, well, that sounds like a job for
Future Peter.
That sounds like a job for future Peter. And on those tasks, a lot of us are guilty of that, I'm sure, but putting off graduating for 5 years is Olympic level procrastination. And in regards to being neat and being organized, if any of you have seen one of Peter's pre-living with Caitlin bedrooms, you know exactly what I'm talking about. They are disgusting. So, to be fair to Peter, we'll just group these in a category and say Peter's laid back. He's an easygoing, laid back guy, to be nice. Well, Caitlin is not laid back. Caitlin is driven, she is career oriented, and she's high achieving. And thank God for Peter. Caitlin, this relationship and you are the reason that Peter gets out of bed every morning. And I mean that pretty literally. Also, Caitlin and Peter got Gigi, their dog, about 10 months prior to Peter moving in with Caitlin. Dogs need to be house trained. Peter's now much better at living in a house. So it's not a large leap of logic to realize that Caitlin house trained the two of them together. So I want to pause here and say, Caitlin, thank you for everything you've done for Peter. Really, your impact on him cannot be overstated enough. You're not getting off the hook, though. So Caitlin does this thing where she takes completely normal sayings and she says them in her own, Caitlin-y way. So, for example, when describing someone that is apparently like everyone else, she says they're just another bowl in a china shop. Bowl, like cereal bowl. Also, when presented with an org chart at work, she said, if this is the hierarchy, then where's the lowerarchy? That is not how that works. So we have laid back Peter on one end, and then we have high achieving, driven Caitlin on the other. And it's really their differences that make this relationship how strong it is. Because if both parties were like Peter, nothing gets done. I hope Gigi's still alive. If both parties are like Caitlin, though, it's WWE WrestleMania. So it really is what makes it work. Now, I started off with some of Peter's unique qualities, but what Peter really is someone who is thoughtful, he's engaging, he is kind, and he's funny. on being thoughtful, males of our age, 20s, 30s, don't often get each other gifts. I don't remember the last birthday of mine that Peter has actually not gotten me a birthday gift. And he doesn't have Facebook on his phone, so he actually has to know when my birthday is, which for us millennials is pretty impressive. And he's engaging. He's the type of person, it's kind of a cliche, but when you meet him once, you feel like you've known him for a while. He's memorable. And he's funny. Peter is the type of person that, one, makes fun of himself better than anyone I've ever met. Thankfully, otherwise I wouldn't have been able to say most of what I said. But he keeps conversations and moods very lighthearted. And he's kind. Peter is Caitlin's rock, similar to his biblical namesake, as he is for many of us who know him. To put it very simply, Peter is one of my favorite people. And for those of you guys who know him well, I'm pretty confident that that sentiment holds true. It's been an absolute pleasure to get to know past and present Peter, and I cannot wait for what's in store for future Caitlin and future Peter. So please raise your glass, join me in a toast.
Before we continue the evening, for everybody here, friends and family, we feel so lucky to be surrounded by such an amazing support group. Taking the time out of your day to celebrate with us, and we just appreciate it so much. To family, parents, people who have traveled, we couldn't be more grateful for you being here today, and we just feel so honored and humbled that you're here. For my wedding party here, these lovely ladies and these guys. It's a sacrifice to be in a wedding, as some of my groomsmen, more than others, have pointed out. But I appreciate it, we really do. You're the people that are just closest to us, and we couldn't be happier that you accepted our invitation to share this day. And finally, to my lovely bride, for those of you who know me, which all of you do, otherwise you wouldn't be here. And as Ben just said, if you see how amazing this day has been, you probably figured out that I didn't plan it. It was Caitlin. And Amazon Prime a little bit. So, thank you very much. Everybody else, continue to celebrate. We're going to have a rockin' evening. We've hyped you all up to the DJ, so we expect you to put on a pretty good show, and the bartenders as well. So let's enjoy, celebrate, have a good time tonight, and cheers.
I'm a little bit rusty and I think my head is caving in. And I don't know if I've ever been really loved by a hand that's touched me. Well, I feel like something